You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 22nd meeting of the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Managers. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
I'm going to call to order the August 22nd, 2023 meeting for the Board of Managers of the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau. May we have the roll call, please?
Becky Greenlaw. Absent. Pat Harris.
Here.
Corinne Myers. Martha King. Here. Adam Konechny.
Here.
Laura Krantz.
Here.
Mike Sykes.
Here.
Doug Waters.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments at this time? Hearing none, we'll move right into the approval of our July 2023 minutes. You've all received them in your email. We have a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Mike Sykes and a second by Doug Waters. Any discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. For my report this morning, I'm just going to comment on the outstanding boat race. It's not really a report, but I do want to say it was outstanding, even with the weather being the challenge that it was. I thought it was great. So Jax and the team are going to give a little bit more details on it, but just wanted to say good job. And our treasurer's report. She's not here. Do we have some? Yes.
Morning. For claims for July 2023, our accounts payable total $258,211.59. Payroll totaled $67,030.63 for a grand total claims of $325,242.22. And I will pass the complete reconciliation as well as you have in front of you, I hope, or have available, our general financials, balance sheet, and statement of expenses. Any questions?
Do we have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve the claims is read.
Second.
We have a motion by Doug Waters and a second by Martha King. Any discussion? Jack's not in here, but I was just going to comment on the continued progress we're seeing and the growth from rearranging those funds that we had in reserve into the money market. It's looking really good and it's performing as we had expected. So just wanted to comment on that. I don't know if anyone else has any questions about our financials. If not, with the motion in second, I'll call for the vote. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay, this brings us down to our CEO report by Mr. Jack Arnett.
All right. Well, a couple updates to give you with regards to, we do some follow-up from the big race. Internally, we started that process, and we're bringing together most of our community partners, vendors on the 12th to look at what we've compiled and kind of sort through it as far as making any tweaks, moving forward for next year, making any changes, things like that. That's the process we're in now. Certainly any of you that have any observations or anything you want to add, I've got some stuff from several of you already. Please feel free to shoot an email in on that. Overall, we won't have any numbers or anything in quite a while. The economic impact is probably going to be right in line with normal economic impact, because even when you have weather issues, much of the money is already spent usually, and that's a really good thing. And we had a huge number of race teams, which that's what drives the money right there, and that stayed on target. So all that's, really positive. We got great feedback. We got a lot of good internal stuff done over the 4 days. We held several meetings with the operators and the folks that govern this industry. We had some private meetings because there's a lot of outside issues that happen that sometimes could affect us one way or the other, that are really issues we don't care about, points and how things are distributed to the race teams. But they're very, very critical to getting race teams here, and and we get caught in the middle of that sometimes. So we had a couple really good meetings that we convened, Michigan City. I convened with all of the sites on the circuit. We invited them all here, and we were able to really hammer out some really good stuff. And still working on that. That's still ongoing. But to me, that was, from my perspective, way more important to the bigger picture than anything that could have happened on the water or happened that weekend. That's a huge effort there. So, we're really glad with that. Just skipping on the...
Just a comment, that's really important because of the 5-year contract we have with them now. And so, in going forward, getting some of the stuff settled and looked at and finalized is very important.
It is, yes.
Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, no, it's...
Long term of the contract.
Yeah, exactly, and this is all a lot of moving parts to that, but we're still on it for sure. Yeah, good. So, a couple things. Let's see. Let me go back to on the 12th. Anybody on the board that would like to join us, just send me a note, and I'll give you all the information. We're going to meet with some of our vendors for a debriefing type. We're going to do a breakfast on the 12th, probably about 9 o'clock, I think is the time it's set. On the 19th of September, our regional tourism group is hosting the whole region at Lucha, and I would like the board to attend as guests if you're free. And I think you'll really enjoy the presentations. Normally, we do each county gets up and talks a little bit about what they do, and because we're very diverse and we all have different ways that we achieve our goals, and it's really a good learning experience. And then this one, since we're hosting, I'm having a couple local folks that help drive our advisory board for our regional group present. We're going to have some Mayor Dermody and Shaw Friedman are both co-chair our advisory group, so they're both going to present on some legislative issues that we have coming forward that really are important, certainly to us.
What time is that meeting?
That one will be at 10 to 2 on the 19th. And again, it'll actually be the full staffs from Elkhart, St. Joe, Porter, LaPorte, and Lake counties. And we'll bring all of our staffs in for that, in for those meetings. So you'll enjoy that, anybody that wants to come.
I would encourage all of our board members to participate. If Jackson is asking us for support something that...
Well, I think you'll find it, you guys are pretty involved, and I think you'll find it...
Usually doesn't...
Yeah, very helpful in the whole bigger picture type stuff in the industry, and see what's happening on the region, and especially since we got a couple local folks that really are big proponents of tourism, kind of leading one of the discussions, one of the panels, right. Shaw and Tom. Yeah.
And Laura, that includes you.
Yeah.
Just that, just.
Yep. So that's coming up. In the last week or so, we've started back up discussions with our NIBC, our basketball tournament in January. We've had a couple meetings on that. Things are going great in that regard. One of the things that we've talked to you all about previously, and we're kind of back in that mode again, is we're going to start promoting Lullemire as a county school, our county school, and we're going to step that up big time. I think One of the things we're gonna try to do is get some broadcasts of their local games. I've been working with WIMS. They're willing to step up and do that. That'll help a lot. So we've got a lot on the table there that's gonna be pretty exciting. Nike has joined the sponsorship role for that event. This year, their resources are gonna go directly to the teams, but next year, assuming we get that contract renewed, which it's not been renewed yet, but assuming we do, the assets coming from the Nike would go to the venue maybe, which will be really nice to us. To the city of LaPorte. Some of the dollars. But this year we won't get any from Nike, but the team will. Some of them will. So that'll be good.
Did they resolve the issue with scheduling and having the schools, issue with having the schools not have their tournaments or whatever at the same time in the community so that we can get participation from the schools to attend?
Well, I think what maybe you're referring to is last year we missed the Christmas break. We started while school was going on. This year, school's going to be still out for, I call it Christmas break. It's the end of the year. So we'll be able to bring in.
They don't have those holiday tournaments during the time the high schools in this area?
Oh, one of them did, didn't they? 2 years ago. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Last year, I don't recall, Pat, that there was one, but
I thought there was last year.
Yeah.
That was one of the issues with the kids.
Yeah,
When they participate because they had to practice.
there is no tournament, to answer your question.
Okay.
We had no conflicting tournaments, and at least the LaPorte school system is out, so we'll be able to bring the pep band in and a couple of the bands. So and that's a big deal. That'll be that's really a big deal. I just got off the phone before I walked in here with the Michigan City school system with Craig, and we're going to sign a contract for Ames Field for November for the Pop Warner. We knew that was in place. That's been, but we never got to the point where we got that contract ready. But I want to make sure I reported that. That'll be happening. We're back in Ames Field this year, which is really cool.
Okay.
That's going to be
It's on Sundays, right?
well, it's 3 weekends in a row, and it'll be Saturdays and Sundays, both days.
That doesn't conflict with their schedule,
Who's?
the high school schedule, football game.
Oh, yeah, it could. Then we always have to play around if they advance in the state tournament.
Okay.
Unfortunately, our schools haven't advanced recently, so we didn't have a conflict. I mean, you hope our schools advance, but from the other side of it, if they don't, then we don't have to worry about scheduling. So but that late in the year, Pat, you got to really advance deep in the tournament to still be playing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we should be fine, hopefully. And the other part of that is they try to play on Friday nights, which doesn't conflict with the Pop Warner too bad. That's the bulk of it. So let's see, 12th, 19th. I think for now that's enough of me. I want to jump into, Linda, you're next up, so I won't jump into Amy. I'll go ahead and put you up if you would, please.
All right, thanks, Jack. And once again, like Jack said, Great Lakes Grand Prix weekend. The week was fantastic, even though with the weather and so on. Overall, I think everyone had a great time. Just being together. A lot of, Rick Federici did an awesome job with his broadcast and so on. So, like Jack said, we'll have that update going on. If you recall, South Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau and us co-partnered with MLive Media Group. They're out of Michigan, but covered literally the state of Michigan and over into Cincinnati, which covered a lot of the other cities in Ohio. Broadcasting, we sent them information for the banners and a great letter between Jack and the director for the air show that people could actually read. And so I've been comparing South Shore's numbers to our numbers, and they're very close as far as clicks, impressions, and so on. So overall, I'll see Heather when we meet on the 19th, and she and I have just talked a couple things. But since this was our first year, we're just anxious to see, one, if because next year the air show is going to move before our boat race, which will be good. But to see just how well received and that we felt that we got a good bang for our buck with this partnership. Indiana Tourism Association, actually we have a call on Thursday with board members that are part of the Influence committee, and so it's about 6 of us, so we'll be talking about the social media part of that, and obviously AI that you've been hearing a lot of as well. It seems like it's too early, but it's not. Visitor guide sales are going to start up next month. And I spoke to ECs yesterday, so we've adjusted the contract for 2024. And they're going to start hitting the farms first, because those are the first ones to close before their season is over. And then we'll just have our normal process. Chelsea's working with ECs, and we'll be reviewing the contracts for accuracy and so on. And we're getting a lot of requests, for developers that are looking at primarily Michigan City right now. SOLA, who is the group who had a booth at our boat race, and they are the ones that are working on the condo part, the townhouses, and so on at the You Are Beautiful property. Wyndham Hotel is building the 2 hotels. So they've reached out to us for information, definitely, tourist attractions that are here in Michigan City as they're putting their deck together to present to Wyndham. So we've submitted all of that to them. And then sometime this week there'll also be a video done. It's called Bull Production. Royce Williams, who formerly was on the Michigan City Police Department, is part of that group now, and they're setting up an interview with Elaine Beadle from IDDC and myself to talk about tourism and Michigan City overall as far as the visitors and all. So that'll be done this week, and then they're actually making up production and doing things around the city so that they'll actually be able to show that. I'm not sure where, but once again, just something real exciting. We are with Visit Indiana and the In Indiana. I had a chance just to look back at the Indiana Food Waste Trail that we have 10 restaurants on, and I've talked to a couple of the restaurants, and they're not saying they've seen this huge, but it's summertime, everything's going to be big. But it's just great to go on the Food Waste Trail and just look at our restaurants in Michigan City and LaPorte, that other people are able to actually go on and take a look at them and actually go to their sites to get more information. So other than that, it's like I said, August came, it's here, and we're almost into September. We got big Labor Day weekend activities, so we have one more big bang, and then we get into kids are going back to school. And the other thing I also had forgot, EDC's newsletter came out yesterday, and they have what they call, Dale's not here, Vibrant Michigan City. So they had a meeting in Indy last week, and I'll just pass this around, but our Dale Cooper is on that committee, so she was able to participate, and I'm sure she'll get back with us with an update as far as what happened. But Clarence said it was well received, and they're moving forward with some other things that'll be going on for Vibrant Michigan City. So other than that, that's all I have.
Yeah. Just, you'll recall, several years ago, Maggie and I headed up the Vibrant Community Initiative for the county, and with a lot of help, we brought folks in and put this together, and that is exactly one of the fruits of that labor, okay, that's coming forward now. But the whole goal there is to enable our communities to pick up on the information that we brought in during the whole Vibrant Community research and effort for several years, and then empower the folks locally to take that stuff and move forward with it. And whether it's a housing discussion, or whether it's infrastructure, or whether communications, whatever it is, and that's exactly what this group is doing. We couldn't be happier. We had a meeting Friday night, several of our staff, Katie and Gail and I, and a couple of us, and we're following up again next week with another one. And this group here in Michigan City has really picked up. So thanks for bringing that up there. It was a good to see that moving forward. Let's see. Moving on to heads and beds. Amy's out of town. Actually, she's in London. Gonna watch the Notre Dame game. Her and Mike. That's pretty cool. Well-deserved vacation. I spoke with Amy before she left. We're tracking this closely. But last month we had several of our lodging facilities not remit innkeeper's tax, so last month we were way down, but we know exactly who and why and where, and that will all circle back and come together. But that would have been the report Amy would have given you today, that last month was down substantially. But again, when you drill down in to find out why, just a couple facilities, they're busy in the summer, their properties are, and then they so this month it'll catch back up, there's no doubt. These are properties that always pay, so it's not a matter of us having to really probably spend a lot of time tracking that down. It should catch itself up just fine. And the way I see that our keeper's tax going for the years is looks like I could probably safely project we're going to be up again this year. Not maybe as much, but we'll see. So that's the heads and beds. I see Terry's here. I know, as Linda alluded, we're certainly going to jump in and help with this great Oktoberfest event that Terry's putting together, and I'm sure he wants to elaborate on that. So, Terry, anything on the race or on Oktoberfest or anything that's on your mind?
Still trying to recover from the race. But no, I think, I'm excited about the meeting, the follow-up meetings. We talk about things that went well and things we can do better. Trying to keep up with what's been what I would call an extremely busy summer. We've got about a month left, but obviously one of our biggest events here in Michigan City is Oktoberfest. Those of you from Michigan City know the tradition of Oktoberfest. We brought it back last year. Last year we had 42 bands on 3 stages over 4 days. This year we have 52 bands on 3 stages over the 4 days. Just not going through everything, but to give you an idea of the mix of music that we have this year. Folk, Americana, classic rock, southern rock, traditional German, hip-hop, funk, soul, reggae, Motown, Mexican-American, punk music, metal music, Celtic music, bluegrass, country, German brass music, Latin music. We even have a couple of high school bands, high school kids that are coming out to play. We've got hip-hop, we've got polka, we've got blues, so if you can't find music you like, then you probably don't like music. Flair of everything, of course, in traditional Oktoberfest style. Together, they'll play Sunday night on the big stage, and Dr. Duke Tomato will close things out on Monday. So, great music lineup. From a food standpoint, last year we had 10 food vendors. This year we had 18 food vendors. And we've actually been turning food vendors away because we don't have power or space for them. So obviously the word is out that the festival is back and it's getting bigger and better. From a standpoint of art, craft, and merchandise vendors, last year I think we had 22. This year we should have over 40, including a group out of Michigan City called Kidpreneurs. It's a great organization where they teach kids how to be entrepreneurs. They make their own items and they sell them, so they're going to be there. I think they said we might have up to 20 of those groups there, 20 of those kids there. So really excited. It's going to be a long, fun weekend, and if I make it through that, then we have one more event on the schedule, which is our Festival of Lights celebration. But we'll talk about that if I make it to Oktoberfest.
Hey, Terry, what is the usual attendance at our Oktoberfest? Just a range.
Back in the day, I mean, you were talking probably, I'd say anywhere from 20 to 25,000 over a 4-day period is probably a conservative guess. I think last year over the 4 days, we probably brought in probably close to 15,000 over the 4 days. And that was after a 10-year hiatus, not being back around. And I think we made enough noise last year, and we've got a lot of people inspired and excited this year. So I would not be surprised over the 4 days to see 20 to 25,000 people.
Good.
So weather permitting, of course, but the great thing about this event is all 3 stages are covered, so people can come and listen to music and have food. And this year I think we've got a much better variety. We've got some Latin music, some Mexican folk music, we've got Celtic, we've got hip hop. I mean, I think we've covered almost everything this year. So, and we've been turning bands over. We've had bands calling us saying, "Hey, we really want to be a part of it." So it's growing. I'm just running out of space, kind of like the boat race. We got too much stuff and not enough space, so we're gonna have to work on the council and the park board to start making some improvements to Washington Park. But really excited, and again, we make it through that, and excited to work with Jack and Bud on the NIBC this year. Be part of that. So that's about it.
Thanks, Terry. Brett, you're up with LaPorte.
Well, I think Jack already updated everyone pretty well on the NIBC. We're excited to get that rolling. Dates are January 4th and 6th. We did receive a tentative schedule already from Paragon. Nothing that can be announced yet because television broadcasting is always one of the last minute things that come together, so they tend to hold times and solid announcements until we get that ironed out. Looking at ticket sales start date, probably late October, early November. We are going to do some family packages, we think, this year and a few adjustments. We're extremely excited about this huge thing, as Jack alluded to, with the fact that LaPorte County School, or LaPorte schools, and I believe Michigan City as well, are both off those 2 full weeks. Last year they went back on Wednesday, which hurt our attendance on Thursday and Friday during the day. This year we don't have that problem, so we're really thinking we can pack the gym for all 3 days, which is something we really need to do with the community and the great efforts of the CDB in arranging a lot of the schools to be able to bring their kids and taking care of the tab for them. We just wrapped up our Lake Fest week before the Great Lakes Grand Prix. It was a great event for us. A lot of hard work by the committee and leadership of Mark Schreiber. We were able, between sponsorships and revenue generated by the event, to pay for the entire Lake Fest. And a lot of unsung heroes in the CDB once again steps in with that. Not only do they take care of everything to do with the jet ski race, but they were vital in arranging transportation and picking up a lot of the expenses from a hospitality standpoint for the Everclear band that was our highlight on Saturday night. I would say we easily eclipsed 4,000 people in Fox Park that evening. Would we agree, Adam? Yeah. It was quite a sight. A steady flow from basically 5:30 to about 9 o'clock right before the fireworks. You just kept thinking, okay, this is about it, and you would just continuously see a trickle of people coming up with lawn chairs, etc. One of the vital points on something like that, too, just to talk about, we arranged to sell just a few standing room only seats in the front for VIPs and that. And the whole idea of that is we keep the entire weekend free for everybody. So by adding that little area, we were able to help offset some of the costs. Like, one thing a lot of the people don't quite understand is we do not spend one tax dollar on that event. Nothing comes out of the general budget in the city of LaPorte to put on Lake Fest. It's all paid through sponsorships and the revenue we generate from everything, the extra help from the Bureau and everyone else. So thank you to our community, to our sponsors, to Visit Michigan City LaPorte for helping us be able to do that. The following week, we wrapped up our Friday Night Lives downtown in La Stitch with a great event with Cheeseburger in Paradise. We had a band called Cabanorama play downtown. Probably 1,500 to 2,000, probably closer to 1,500 for that one. Lots of great happy vendors again. We had several food trucks sell out, as they almost always do for these things. We did rearrange the lineup a little bit in that area and moved them a little more into the parking lots, because the success of Taco Fest is proven that when you have over an hour lines at some of these taco trucks and that, we need to try to get a little separation over there. So we still have a lot of happy people, and that's what matters most. Civic auditorium wise, I don't know if you guys have been following our social media page, but the seats are in, the rails are in, the aisles have been widened and epoxied and everything. Our guys are diligently working right now, washing the walls, getting the dust down, fixing the floor. We reopen with the Mayor's Ball this Saturday, August 26th. Starts at 7 o'clock. If anyone's interested and hasn't contacted Annette, please do so at 219-362-8220. The exhaust fans, as a few people hopefully saw, were donated by New York LaPorte, which was huge for us. It freed up a few funds, and it was great to see the local manufacturer whose original fans were in our building. When they were pulled out during the renovation, New York LaPorte's name was all over those, so those were put in 1929 during the construction. And they said, we still want New York LaPorte in that building. Instead of trying to sell us the fans, they came in, said, we'll donate them. We got with the general contractor, played the middleman, and got it done.
Good job.
Great teamwork
That's
from
great.
New York LaPorte and the city and Schneider Electric by making that happen, and especially Circle R, because they're the subcontractor for the heating and exhaust, and they made it happen, so hats off to them. We're real excited about the new look. I think everyone's gonna be happy, especially during that NIBC tournament. And for those sitting up there, the seats will no longer be 17 inches wide. If you hunt and pack up there, you can actually find seats that are 24 inches wide. Lee Company did a great job designing the new balcony seating charts. Since we had to widen the aisles, narrow a few things, there were spaces where there was 3 seats before that we could only get 2 in. So instead of leaving a little more gaps, they just gave us bigger seats. If you can't find a comfortable seat up there, you're not trying. Some amenities were nice with the cup holders and things, but just the comfort level, the look. We tried to stick with the historic perspective of the building and kept with our brown tones and things like that. Luckily, we have enough friends on council and friends in the community that helped guide us in that process some as well. But I think at the end of the day, everyone's going to be extremely happy. Hoosier starts for us once we get past the Mayor's Ball on September 9th, and then we're booked every Saturday through March 10th of 2024 right now. So things are picking up for us. I guess the other big thing to announce to everybody is the Local Boy concert. Since our last meeting is our rededication concert from a rock and roll perspective for the main floor. That's September 22nd. It is by far our biggest investment in entertainment yet. Under my leadership of the Civic, I highly encourage, if not beg, everyone to buy tickets for this event. It's a process for us to take a small step here, which is a little bigger than normal for us, but to make sure that we can sell these things out and be able to afford to bring in even bigger and better entertainment in the future. We're trying to take baby steps, as everyone can understand. And once again, I just like to stress, no tax dollars are spent on these events. These are paid for by revenue we generate. So if we don't make the money, we won't bring in a bigger act next time we do one. We can't lose saying we don't have it. We want, there's no, when you see additional appropriations from our council for the Civic, that's out of revenue dollars. And it's called non-reverting or 5504 fund. It does not come out of general funds. So despite what you may hear or think, trust me, there is not one tax dollar going in entertainment that's obligatory. And then I guess the last thing until our next meeting, and definitely not the least, the 24th annual Sunflower Fair will be September 16th, Saturday, September 16th. We start at 8, wind up around 4. We're added some better entertainment this year. I know we're gonna have the the head honchos playing. Hopefully Naughty may be playing as well. We've talked to a couple other bands. We have a great lineup of food trucks, over 120 artisan vendors. Last year, we drew over 6,000 people.
Are you cooking corn?
I am not cooking corn. I will be way too busy, Michael. However, you are welcome to come back as the guest conductor. But we start, and once again, a big thank you to the community and our volunteers. Those guys are out there we're out there by 5:30 in the morning. getting them set up, and we'll be there till probably 6:30 that night. The night before, we'll have our night on the Ave, which is gonna be between, on Michigan Avenue, the block between Lincoln Way and Jefferson. Small Town is playing once again. We'll have a stage set up. Some of our food vendors are coming in early for that. And it's gonna be a great evening. We have some great entertainment. It's free to the public once again, minus, the beer garden and your food vendors. We'll have a few artisan vendors out there as well, but it's gonna be just a great weekend for everyone. Who was in charge for the weather at the Great Lakes Grand Prix? Let's see my signs was, so Jack, you're in charge for the weather for the summer.
Oh, man.
But barring anything, like as we always say, some things are outside of our control, but it's always a beautiful event. And we go on rain or shine, so it's gonna be a great day, and I highly encourage everybody to attend.
I've been around quite some time now, and I've seen a lot of things go on in LaPorte, being chamber president and everything. But I just want to say what an asset you've been
Well, thank you, Mike.
to the community. Good
Well,
job.
I appreciate it, but I couldn't do it without our team. I won't even say my team, but our team, and our team is all of you here. Adam's on several committees with us, the park department, the street department, the police department. Like, it's a group effort, but thank you, I appreciate that.
Somebody has to bring it all together.
Okay. All right. So, just in closing of my reports, the Blue Chip has started socializing the changing of the way they've been feeding people for quite a while. As you know, our buffet's been shut down since COVID, and we literally have not been able to offer morning food, breakfast food for a couple years now. It's been a real challenge. Brenda's out talking about this in the community now. Angie shared some stuff with me, but I don't want to misquote the exact extent of the upgrades, but I can tell you that the area that used to be the buffet is real close to being finished up into a new food court model that will now, it's been backed up to the end of November to open. It was actually scheduled to open the end of October, but construction things kind of slowed down. And as soon as that opens up, they'll be closing down the deli, the Nelson's Deli part, and then they're gonna change that model a little bit too. So the new one will open up, and that will be what I would call a full-service breakfast type venue, and much larger. And then while that's opening, then the old deli area will be restructured into something new. So that's a good update there. We're really happy to have that. A lot of heartburn. Poor Angie's had to work through just, you bring groups in and you can't even give them breakfast. I mean, that's tough. So we've worked through that for a couple of years, so that's a great update. So with that, Pat and the board, unless you got any questions, I can pass it on.
All right. Any questions of Jack? Okay. Do we have any unfinished business that anyone wishes to bring before the board? Any new business? Laura, anything exciting happening in our... Nothing.
There are some things exciting happening, but nothing that pertains to.
Okay. Okay, do we have any board comments at this time? So Adam, I understand you've been very busy.
A little bit.
Yeah. Anything you'd like to share just as a wrap up of the Lake Fest and?
Yeah, just piggyback on Brett. It was a great success, and I do want to thank the CVB for all the help in the hotels and logistics, and especially the changing of the hotel rooms last minute and the extra vehicle. But yeah, we appreciate it. Wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. So, but yeah, great event. I think I was told it was the most people ever, probably, or most people at Fox Park, or but at the top at least there was quite a bit. So everything went well with the bands and all the different events, and the community feedback was great. And just great to see anywhere we went, just a lot of good people out doing things, and a lot of good feedback from bags tournaments or the concerts or the kids fun zones and all those the Nerf gun battles, all these different things. I mean, it was great to see all the different events. I think each year we're getting a little bit better as far as attendance and how we're doing things, and it's 3 years, so it's a learning process, but yeah, we left the day after Lake Fest to go on a little vacation to Mexico
Yeah.
for a week.
There you go.
Kind of relax and catch up a little bit, but yeah. No, it was a great event though, so we appreciate all the help.
Yeah, Pat, if I could, Adam touched on the vehicle thing, and it goes back to what, how we work together, but we just kind of lucked out there. As it turned out, we needed that extra vehicle that you all worked through a process with the advice of council, and I really appreciate Lorraine that, and she knows her and I were trying to get this fixed and do it right and stay within the guidelines, but the fact that you let us move forward and work together on that allowed us to get that extra vehicle on time and really saved our kahunas on that one. I mean, literally, we were between that and a couple other events, we got that vehicle, pulled it off the parking lot and headed for the airport, literally. I mean,
It did work out.
It worked out. We were lucky.
Extra vote was good, and it's nice. It's a nice vehicle. And it's
Yeah,
nice that we
we're
had
perfect
it
for
because,
that.
Yeah, we ended up needing two at the last minute because of a miscommunication on the original contract from the booking agent to the actual contract. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it worked out well. But yeah,
But Laura, thank you for your guidance on that. I know that was a process, and you guys, and especially when the board let us, Laura and I, sit on that for a month and kind of for a few weeks and figure out the process, and that was very helpful. So we appreciated that. You got lucky. All right.
Thanks for that. I would just like to say, we do have some board members that I like to acknowledge for their contributions to events when they take place. And one is Adam. As Brett said, Adam's involved in some of the community committees in LaPorte and very active, so that's wonderful. And Mike, the best golf court driver at the boat race. He does an outstanding job there with helping people out, getting them around the boat race. Thank you for your involvement. And of course, Doug, and he's always been a champion in jumping in and helping out. Becky's not here, but I did see her out, even helping with some of the registration areas.
And
So-
Stacy.
Stacy also.
Oh yeah, Stacy, right? Yeah, she's not here. So
Doug man the gate every day.
yeah, every day. He's
We're still working on recommendations he's garnered from being out there, so.
I'm sure he has a few. But we just want to make sure, as a board, we stay involved and do things to help out, so.
We appreciate it.
So with that, if we have nothing else, our next meeting is September 26th. You all have a great month, and don't forget our wonderful Oktoberfest. And we'll see you next month.
Thank you.